Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Waubonsee Community College's Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Steve Moga, and it is springtime. It is time for baseball and softball and men's tennis to get things going. And joining me here, the very first segment, is the head baseball coach of the Chiefs, Brad Unger. And Coach, thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for having me.
You look like you're just about ready for practice there.
Yeah, today's a day off, but I put on the shirt so we can look good today.
You're looking good and looking the part for sure.
All right.
And, Coach, we jokingly have talked about this off camera before we started that instead of wearing that today, you should be wearing like the old Riddler costume from the old Batman TV show where it's just a big question mark, because that's kind of how you feel about your team this year. It's a huge question mark for the 2018 Chiefs. And you've had what is not completely, it happens from time to time, but it is still somewhat rare to have injuries before the year starts. You'll get injuries as the season goes, but it just seems like another guy's dropping every other day lately from one thing or another, and so it makes it tough going into the season to know exactly what you have.
Yeah, it's. To say that it's been disheartening. I mean, we haven't even started. We haven't even played a game yet. But we lost. The top four guys in our rotation. That make a significant impact. The good news is that one of our strengths is our depth. So we do think that we'll be very competitive still. We got to, just get prepared with the guys that are here, and I guess the silver lining is, we always evaluate our program to try to improve. The four injuries or the four players that we lost were all due to non-specific baseball activity. So, knock on wood, we haven't had any baseball injuries. It's been baseball players that have been injured.
Yeah.
But I think our guys are. It's going to be a challenge for them to step up. It's going to give great opportunity for a lot of guys that we're probably going to be more of role players, and now they're going to have to step up and contribute and make big, meaningful impacts.
Well, let's talk about that depth and those guys, because you say the top four guys that you had projected in your rotation. Mm-hmm. That means guys got to move up. So who's probably going to be your number one pitcher now after all the dust is settled here? Yeah,
it's going to be Jake Smith from Aurora Central Catholic High School. He redshirted last year due to a flexor tendon strain that he had through the summer, and came in with us and re-aggravated it during our fall season. And we tried to work through it through the winter last year. It didn't work out, so he did end up redshirting. So he's actually a freshman eligibility-wise for athletics, even though he's a sophomore academically. So right now he's the guy. He's our horse. He's thrown great all winter, all fall. He's hopefully has every indication of being a frontline guy for us.
And you've got some other guys that are more than capable. It's just, again, they're unproven, but you've got some other pitchers at the top of the rotation too.
Yeah, we have two other players, Garrett Getz from Oswego East High School and Malik Benz from Bolingbrook High School. Both of those guys are potential draft picks this year. So we've had scouts come out to our bullpens and watch them throw the simulated games as we prepare for the season. We're really excited about those guys. I mean, they absolutely have all the talent that they need to be successful here. It's a matter of how do you deal with that adversity? How do you deal with at times they're going to fail. Mm-hmm. It's going to be that experience and what kind of demeanors can they bring to the mound and focus on next pitch.
Garrett's also one of those guys, Oswego East grad, who can swing the bat a little bit too. Are you going to let him
absolutely.
do that much?
Oh yeah, Garrett probably figures to be in the middle of our order, and he's going to be a guy that obviously we're going to, I don't want to say limit, but we are going to keep a very close eye on workload. We want to make sure that he has the proper recovery and rest between starts. At the same time, we want to make sure that his bat can be an impact for us throughout the season. But he's probably going to be a 3, 4, 5 guy for us. Hopefully 3-hole. That's where we're going to start at least at the beginning of the year, and we'll see how it develops.
And Malik Benz is a guy who literally and figuratively stands out. He's 6'7", 240 pounds. He's a specimen.
Yeah, he is a specimen. I mean, he has every tool you would want in a pro prospect. He throws the ball incredibly hard, sits between 92 and 94 miles an hour. But control, can he command his stuff? Pitchability is going to be big with him. If he can command 3 pitches in the strike zone, then he's going to pitch a tremendous amount this year for us.
One of the things that's separated Waubonsee from some other schools over the years is not just everybody's got a 1 and a 2, maybe a 3, but you've got some 4, 5, 6 guys in that area as well that are pretty good, aren't they?
Yes, yeah. Tyler Huncha from McHenry High School, he has been outstanding. Just a strike machine, has 3 pitches that he commands. He's going to be a big piece for us. Matt Wantes of Stagg High School, he's come in extremely, extremely raw. And as you know, you've coached at the junior college level as well. At this level, our freshmen really get 1 semester to be freshmen, and then we really ask them to be sophomores, on the competition level. And so Matt had his freshman season this fall. He's learned a tremendous amount, but he's looked incredibly gifted this winter. I mean, he's done a tremendous job, everything we've asked him. So we're hoping that they'll make big impacts for us as well. Logan Love, a sophomore that comes in from West Aurora High School. He had a great impact season last year as a kind of a spot starter, middle relief guy. We even used him as a closer at times, and he figures to be a part of the one of those back end of the rotation guys, spot start guys as well. So we're expecting good things from him too.
Who are you looking at toward the back end of the bullpen or the closer in that role and that kind of thing?
Well, we're going to move around between a couple of different guys, and again, we say that Malik's going to really make a big determining factor of that. One, how resilient is he? How often can he come back? Is he going to be a rotation guy, or is he going to be a back end of the bullpen guy? And his strike percentage is going to dictate those answers. And then we have Trevor Wilcox of Geneva High School. He's a strike machine as well. He's got a ton of pitches. I think he's got 5 pitches in his repertoire. Throws them all. Everything he throws moves. He's going to be a big piece to the back end of the bullpen as well.
Any other pitchers? I know Dustin Imanaka somewhere in there may or may not pitch. He was a key guy for you last year.
He is. He's probably the guy who returns with the most notoriety. But we're going to look at him more as a second baseman this year for us.
Okay.
He'll move over and play short when Garrett pitches. He's got, he's a switch hitter from both sides of the plate, and again, he's 5'4" and 155 pounds. So, again, his workload's going to be under consideration as well. But he certainly will get some innings this year. We're looking for him to be a spot starter. He'll throw, maybe a midweek game here and there. But he's going to be successful in any impact or any role that we put him in, and he might even be at the back end of the rotation. His arm's pretty resilient as well.
Along with the whole big question mark thing, you've also got one other guy. I got to bring Ryan Eierman up. I got to bring that name up because he's not necessarily been declared eligible to play yet, but he's a difference maker. Yeah,
I mean, if he's with us, he's got every bit potential to be our number 1, which only makes us deeper. But he's a player out of Naperville Central. He transferred in from TCU, Texas Christian University. Right now, we're just waiting to see if he gets his hardship waiver from the fall semester, and if he does, then he'll be with us. And if he doesn't, then he'll redshirt this year, and he'll look to contribute next season.
Well, hopefully he'll be with you, and hopefully, folks, you'll stay with us because we got to take a break right now. We're going to go away for just a moment. Stay with us here when we talk baseball, some more baseball with Brad Unger.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are a very intelligent young woman. You're very smooth.
You're very smooth yourself.
You have no idea.
Back here on Sports Spotlight, quick reminder, the Chiefs' new athletic website is up, so it's www.gochiefs.com. Go there, check things out, and we're talking here with Brad Unger, talking about the baseball team, and Coach kind of covered the pitchers in this first segment, but normally I always like to go third to first around the infield, that kind of thing, but when you talk about this year's team, your veterans are in the outfield. Well, so let's go there. Let's talk about those guys, left, center, and right field. You've got some pretty good ones out there.
Yeah, that's going to be the strength of our team. That's the backbone of our team, and it was last year as well. So in left field, we're going to bring back Chase Hartleben from Parker, Colorado. He is 6'2", 200 pounds, very athletic, and he was in limited fashion last year because of the outfield crew that we had last year. He replaces Brandon Sparks out there. we're expecting big things. He was injured this fall. He tweaked his knee a little bit, but from every indication, he came back towards the end of fall, was fantastic. He's been outstanding this winter. He should hit in the middle of our order and provide pretty good, solid defense in the corner position. Center field, Dolan Nicholson from Denton High School in Fort Worth, Texas. He is our team leader. He's one of our guys, our captain. All the guys look up to him. He's a relentless worker. He will hit in the 2-hole for us. That's pretty much set in stone. I mean, you never know. But he runs balls down in the outfield that probably shouldn't be ran down. He's a fantastic player. He's definitely going to be successful beyond the walls here at Waubonsee. And then we return our only All-American on the team from last year, this year I should say, is and Josh Meyers. So Marmy in high school, he's been, the guy's a physical specimen as well. He's probably a pro prospect if he puts up the offensive numbers this year. Mm-hmm. He had 14 assists last year in the outfield, tremendously accurate and strong arm. We look for that to continue.
So let's go around the infield then. Third, short, second, first. Your projected starters there and a little depth as well.
Sure. Justin Sartori has won the job at third base. Local guy from Sandwich High School. He is he hit 850 this fall league. The guy really surprised us with his offensive numbers. But he's done everything we've asked him to do. He's getting better defensively, and obviously the experience. Just the more at bats he has, the better he's going to get. So we're really excited to see what kind of season he puts together at third base. Shortstop, we talked about Garrett Getz and Dustin Imanaka earlier. There's one other guy that's going to fit in there as well, when Dustin and Garrett pitches, and that's Jordan Isham. I tell you what, Jordan Isham's probably the most intriguing player on our roster, just from the standpoint of he can play every position. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's incredibly smart. And he's a pretty good pitcher in his own right. So, when we talk about question marks at the beginning of the show, I mean, we really, we have some question marks. So, depending on how Jordan hits, will really depend on how much offense and defensive positioning time he's going to get, or mound time. So, we'll see. But he's definitely going to figure in to be an impact. At second base, we have quite a few guys. Dustin Imanaka is probably our starting second baseman at this point. But when he slides over to fill in at short, then we've got Ryan Becker from West Aurora, Keegan Cordone from Streamwood High School, Gavin Levesky from Lockport. We got a whole host of guys that really, just, again, depth is our strength. So I'm hoping that those guys really challenge me to have to find spots to get creative and put them in the lineup and make contributions to the team this spring. And then at first base, we have our fourth outfielder that we've moved in to first base, and Eric Appleby from Seneca High School, and Aaron Lang, who's from Valparaiso, Indiana, and Cam Steffen from Dubuque, Iowa. So those are the three guys that really are going to factor in over at first base. All three of them swing huge bats. They're all going to be in the middle of our order. They're all going to play, huge impacts, in our offense for the season. It's really going to depend on who plays the best defense, and that's going to be the guy that emerges in Florida. That's going to be what decides who's going to be the everyday guy. And then behind the plate, we bring in Matt Burke. He had a broken foot last year from Murfreesboro High School. He was an exceptional recruit. We were really excited about him last year, and we didn't get an opportunity to see him play much. This year, he's looked really good. He's handled the staff extremely well. We're pretty confident with him behind the plate.
Well, that pretty much covered just about everybody. I'm marking them off as you're going down the roster. Like, man, you mentioned quite a few guys there, but obviously some question marks, especially when you have a young team. You've got a lot of freshmen. The number is in the 20s. Let's just put it that way. How many freshmen are on the roster, which is a little unique to the junior college thing as well. But you don't know until they really get out there and perform. And you're going to do that here very shortly, March 9th in Auburndale, Florida. The Chiefs take on St. Cloud, Minnesota, a team that's been a perennial power. You've got several other teams on your southern trip, Century from college from Minnesota, also Niagara County from New York, teams that are all nationally ranked in the preseason, have been to the World Series the last several years. They're like regulars at that event. So you're going to get a real gauge real quick of where you're at. Absolutely.
I mean, we talk to our guys all the time. It's not about who's on the schedule. We want to play the best baseball we can play. If we go out there and do what we're supposed to do, we're going to be successful. We want to be one of those teams that's standing at the end of the year in the World Series, nationally ranked team as well. So we've been that in years past. We've had a lot of wins, but I think for us, we don't really want to set our standards on winning 1 game, 2 games, or against specific teams in Florida. We really want to go down there and find out how we gel as a group, be as competitive as we possibly can, hopefully get some quality innings out of those guys, and really get prepared to come back and have a great season.
Mention some of the other games there. You play March 9th through the 17th. You also play Southern Maine Community College. You also play Burlington County from New Jersey, Schenectady from New York, and Lakeland Community College from Ohio. Then you return home for your first home game, hope weather permitting, of course. It's always weather permitting around here in Northern Illinois. March 20th against the College of DuPage, a doubleheader here in Sugar Grove starting at noon. So by then you'll have a pretty good idea what you got.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's exciting. We're really excited to see what these guys can do.
Well, we're excited to see it as well, Coach. Thanks for stopping in. Best of luck. We will talk back with you probably after you return with a suntan and everything else and some W's in your pocket from Florida. But we need to take a break right now in Sports Spotlight. When we come back, we're going to talk softball as well, so stay with us.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
We are back here on Sports Spotlight, and just a quick reminder, get more information again by going online to GoChiefs.com, Waubonsie's new athletic website. Great improvement, looks pretty good if I don't say so myself. But anyway, I also want to give a quick shout out to the men's tennis team, Liston Foy, who enters his 6th season as head coach. They will be getting their season going the end of March, so keep an eye out for that. We will have Coach on the show in the future to talk about his tennis team and how things are going with them. But joining me right now is the softball assistant coach in his 7th year, Joe Spitzerian. Thanks for coming in, Coach. First of all, thanks for coming in and not wearing a Yankee shirt, and instead you got a Chiefs shirt on.
Well, we haven't started the season yet, but a Yankee jersey will be in proud as the season starts.
Die-hard New York Yankee fan,
Yes.
but good to have you here, Coach. And first and foremost, this is going to be different not only for the returning players on your team, it's going to be new for you as well because you're with a different head coach this year. Kristen Corning takes over the program, her first year as head coach. After many years, you've worked with Perry. You've known Perry Clark forever. He was affiliated here with Waubonsie as head coach for how many last year?
Over 20 years.
It was 20 years that he was here, but he was head coach for obviously almost the last decade as well. And he's moved on to a 4-year school. You have stayed, that continuity. You're here. Kristen was here as an assistant last year, but she takes over as head coach this year, and it's going to be completely different, kind of with a different leadership this year, isn't it?
It is, and it's been different already. I think the kids had to get used to the difference, just different styles, different approaches. Even we only played 2 early games at St. Ambrose, but the game management's different. Coach Clark always coached third, called pitches. Now I'm at third. Kristen's calling pitches. I'm still kind of setting the defense. But so far, we've worked well together. Our philosophies are very similar. And I think it helps that we really only have 4 returning sophomores, too. So the freshmen didn't play under Coach Clark. They don't really know that system. And we have good leadership at the sophomore level, so it's been a pretty easy transition so far.
We'll talk about those sophomores in a moment, but obviously your roles have changed a little bit. What's been, other than that, what's been the biggest adjustment? Because, after you've done so many things a certain way with Coach Clark, now Coach Corning has her own way of wanting to do things. What's been the biggest adjustment?
Not really that many, because she and I see eye to eye a lot on what her thoughts are, kind of the way I've done it in the past anyway. Really, the biggest difference for both of us are doing all the administrative things that Perry did, scheduling the Florida trip, doing all that behind-the-scenes work, where we only had to come and show up and coach. Now the coaching's a little part of it, and the administrative's a big part of it.
I've always said it's not just coaching the X's and O's, it's all those other things off the
Absolutely.
field that you do. Those are the things that take up a lot of your time and your attention. But let's give some attention now to those returning players. It got to start anywhere you start here with this group. I've got to start with Nicole Krup as a returning sophomore lead pitcher, one of your biggest hitters in the lineup last year. She comes back for her sophomore year from Salmonock High School, and certainly a good player to build around.
Absolutely. Nicole changed our team last year when she joined us after the fall ended. She's our #1 pitcher. She's our cleanup hitter. We expect big things from her, and the freshmen look up to her already. She's a good team leader, good person to have coming back.
You've also got Megan Arcevar, who started quite a bit last year at first base. She's also back for her sophomore season from Matea Valley. Where's she going to be in the batting order?
Yeah, so Meg right now is sitting in the 5th spot, kind of where we foresee her hitting 5th, playing first base, but she's also developed into what we didn't have, our #3 pitcher. She hadn't pitched for over a year or so, and she's gradually getting to the point where she can pitch multiple innings, and I think she's going to be a good relief for us to be able to go into the season with 3 pitchers rather than try to get through it with 2.
Another starter last year was Allie Miller. She was in the outfield. This year, she may not be in the outfield, right?
Miss Miller is Miss Versatility, you can call her, because we've already moved her 4 times, and we've only played 2 games. So she started out moving into third base. We thought she would be our third baseman, backup catcher. Now she's seeing a little more time behind the plate, but one of the freshmen showed that she could handle third base. So we just talked to Ellie now about moving over to second. So she's probably going to be playing some second base and some catching and likely hitting in the 6th spot most of the year.
As the saying goes, the apple never falls far from the tree. Allie's father was a pretty good baseball player here a long time ago. We don't say how long ago, but he was a pretty good player himself. Certainly she has picked up right where he left off with things. But I got to mention your 4th sophomore is Julia Penman. She was injured for most of the year last year, right?
Yeah, Julia lost all of last year due to her injury, so she's really a third-year player, and we've kind of spoken to her about taking that approach. You're not just a sophomore; you're a third-year sophomore. You should be more mature and ahead of the others. And she's gradually, getting herself now in pretty decent shape to be our #2 pitcher, and really 1B. We prefer to be 1A, 1B, not really 1 and 2. So she has big shoes to fill. She has to fill Ellie DeLuca shoes, and Ellie won a lot of games. So right now we just have her focusing on that. She'll be our backup first baseman also, but kind of just focusing on the pitching aspects at this point.
With softball, you can have one really good pitcher, and that can carry you a long way, but you almost really do need that second one. It sounds like you've got a couple people there could be that 2, like you say, 1A, 1B, and maybe a 2 or a 3 type role. Is that going to be the strength of this team, more pitching depth this year?
I think defense, hopefully, is going to be our strength. And we were happy that at St. Ambrose, our first time out playing in a dome against 2 quality teams, no errors. We made some outstanding plays in the outfield, but we went 2 full games without making an error. So that was a positive, because I don't think we're going to be the type of team that's going to blow people away. We're probably going to have to get 17, 18, 19 outs in the field. So that's going to be important, I think, to have that defense out there. So I think that is going to be our strength. And Wabansi's always been offense. I don't see that changing. I think we're going to be able to put runs on the board.
Well, we'll see how that goes, but it's important that we take a break here, so we're going to do that real quick. Don't go away. We'll come back with Joe Spiceri and talk some more Chief softball.
It's a big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes. I mean,
Right?
like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you,
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did
Back here on Sports Spotlight, and we were talking softball with assistant coach Joe Spiceri. And Coach, you mentioned a couple games you've played already. I didn't want to bring that up. You started the season a couple of weeks ago already, playing in the Dome at St. Ambrose University out in Iowa. And it's always a different experience playing indoors, but you are going to get to eventually go outside and play. Hopefully the weather's going to continue to turn here. And I want to talk about that when you're going to head down to Florida for your annual spring trip, and then when you come back up here. But I want to talk about the rest of your potential lineup here for this upcoming season. Let's just start with the outfield real quick. I know you've mentioned the 4 sophomores, but who's going to be in left field, probably?
Brittany Thomas, Courtney's sister. Looks like Brittany's probably going to have the lead spot in the left field. Entirely new outfield. All our outfielders are gone. So it looks like Brittany will be in left, and brings a lot of experience. Our only slapper, so she brings some experience, brings some speed. and that was a nice addition coming in over the fall. We have Natalia Flowers in center. She catches everything in sight. She's done a really good job in the fall and now, so we're pretty comfortable in that spot. And we've been pleasantly surprised in what we're seeing in the right field competition that's going on right now between Tori, Amos, and Claire Avery, and then we have Amber Sebens also out there in a three-way competition for right field, and they made some really nice plays in Ambrose, a couple diving stops. So I think we're pleasantly surprised by what we're seeing from the freshman outfielders, Tori being a sophomore but didn't play last year.
Now, if Miller's behind the plate, who's going to be at third base?
It's going to be Gabby. Gabriella Gomez is going to be playing third base. Did a really nice job at Ambrose, made us really comfortable there. You know how those first games are. You've coached, so looking for people who have deer in headlights look. She wasn't intimidated. She wasn't no deer in headlights. She played well at third, swung the bat well against two really good teams. So we're hoping she's going to lock down third base for us, and that'll freeze Miller up then to kind of move around.
Shortstop?
Autumn Sullivan. Autumn's got the shortstop spot, probably the hardest position to play generally, and for us, because unfortunately for her, I've been a shortstop for 55 years. So I'm a little harder on her, but she's, I think, going to be an outstanding shortstop. And I've told her I think she has a chance to be maybe the best shortstop we've had since I've been here, and we've had some really good ones.
Now, when Krup's not in the circle, will she be at second base?
She will be. So her spot's to be number one pitcher and then to be at second base, and then it's between her and Destiny really backing up at second base.
Of course, we mentioned Megan Arcevar will be at first base, Allie Miller probably behind the plate. You've got your people in the circle. You've got a good nucleus coming back, but it's always tough, they say, to repeat. Let's put it that way. Well, you're going for an 8-peat.
I'm going for an 8-peat.
You've won 7 Illinois Skyway Collegiate Conference titles in a row. You've been a part of 6 of those. What have you been able to tell the girls? And you know, of course, there's always a bullseye in Wabanse's back when it comes to the other schools in the conference.
And I told them even a bigger bullseye this year for 2 reasons. We went to nationals for the first time, and I assume, and I think I know our competition's thinking Coach Clark's gone. It's a good time now to break that streak. So I think there are a lot of hungry wolves looking at our young team, but I think we're a lot, as I told them after Ambrose, we're a lot closer to defending our titles than I thought we were. Sam, I think, is going to be helping out behind the plate a lot. So, and I told them, you don't want to break the streak. You don't want to be the one to break the streak.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure on them to get this done this year.
Well, going to the national tournament last year, winning the Region 4 tournament, I should say, it was a big one. You go to the nationals, you went 1 and 2 there. You put Wabanse on the map, so to speak, in the softball world. It was a great achievement last year, and that, of course, creates a big bullseye for your team. And the difference, though, you've got a new coach, and you got some different players here. You don't have everybody back from last year. It's going to be a big hill for you, so to speak, to climb here, and you got your work cut out for you.
Absolutely. I mean, we have 9 kids making their first trip to Florida out of 13. It's a young team. But, you know, we've got a nice schedule down there where we're playing playing some good JUCO teams, and then we're playing some 4-year teams that we're going to be playing their JV teams. So I think we'll be prepared to go when we get back. Yeah. And we have a lot of home games this year, which really helps.
I want to mention that you head down to Mineola, Florida, a little different than what you've done in the past, a little more central part of Florida. March 8th, you're there through the 16th, and then you come back up here, play at Illinois Valley on March 20th, and your first home game is against McHenry County on March 22nd. So, Coach, hopefully there'll be a lot of softball play between now and then, but hopefully when you come back, we'll have some good things to talk about. Actually, we'll probably talk to Coach Corning when we come back. Sorry.
No problem.
Rather have her on here than you, but I'm just kidding.
No worries.
But we certainly look forward to seeing how things shake out here for your softball team this year, and thank you for coming in. We are actually out of time here on Sports Spotlight. On behalf of my guest, Brad Unger, Coach Pizzeri, our crew, Chris Facebook Foster, and Jim Warning Track Power Magera, I'm Steve Moga. Thanks for watching again, everybody. So long.